Hello, wonderful travelers. Welcome back. If you're like me, you see a long flight not as an ordeal, but as the exciting prelude to a fantastic adventure. Whether it's crossing the ocean to visit family or finally taking that trip to Australia, those long hours in the air are a necessary part of the journey. But let's be honest, as we gracefully accumulate years, the experience of a long-haul flight subtly shifts. The body we have now is different from the body that took those transatlantic red-eyes in our 30s. We tend to worry about jet lag, maybe a sore back, and certainly the price of an extra legroom seat. But there are hidden risks associated with long-duration air travel, risks that are often magnified for those of us over 50. These aren't meant to scare you away from flying. Far from it. My goal is to equip you with expert, caring knowledge so you can anticipate these challenges, mitigate them, and ensure your journey is as comfortable and safe as possible. Think of me as your personal in-flight health consultant, ready to share the often overlooked details. Let's look at 5 critical ways long flights can be riskier for seniors than you might think. 1. The silent threat, deep vein thrombosis, DVT, risk. We'll start with one that is perhaps the most well-known, but often still underestimated in terms of its severity. Deep vein thrombosis, or DVT. This is when a blood clot forms in a deep vein, usually in the legs. For anyone, sitting immobile for hours can increase this risk. But for older adults, this risk is significantly heightened due to several factors. Our circulation is naturally less robust as we age. We may have underlying undiagnosed vascular issues. We might also be taking medications that affect blood thickness or have previous surgeries that already put us at a higher risk baseline. Let's talk about George, a cheerful 65-year-old gentleman who was flying from London to Cape Town. George was fit and active, but he'd had a knee replacement a year prior, a major DVT risk factor. He chose the window seat, settled in for the 11-hour flight, and decided he wouldn't bother anyone by getting up. He reasoned that stretching his ankles occasionally was enough. When he landed, he had a slight ache and swelling in his calf, which he dismissed as a cramped muscle. A day later, however, the pain was intense and he had to be hospitalized. The clot had formed precisely because of his reduced mobility and the compounding effect of his knee surgery. The hidden danger here is the combination of immobility with age-related or pre-existing circulatory conditions. The confined space and the very nature of long-haul flights create a perfect storm for sluggish blood flow. The caring prescription: never underestimate the power of movement. Move at least once every hour. Get up, walk the aisle, or stand by the galley. Don't choose the window seat if you know you won't want to bother your seatmates. Choose the aisle! Targeted exercises. Perform calf raises, ankle circles, and foot pumps right in your seat every 30 minutes. Compression socks. Invest in high-quality medical-grade compression socks. They are essential. They apply gentle pressure to encourage blood flow back up to your heart and are not just for high-risk individuals. They are a wise preventative measure for all long-haul senior travelers. To the altitude effect. Hypoxia and respiratory. Strain. Most commercial airliners cruise at altitudes where the air pressure is equivalent to about 6,000 to 8,000 feet above sea level. This reduced cabin pressure means there is less oxygen available to your body. For a healthy young adult, this slight temporary lack of oxygen, or mild hypoxia, is barely noticeable. But for those of us with underlying respiratory or heart conditions, this is a serious hidden challenge. We are talking about folks with mild COPD, asthma, or even subtle age-related declines in lung function. The body's ability to efficiently transport and utilize oxygen is often slightly compromised in later years. When you introduce the lower oxygen environment of a plane cabin, it can put unexpected strain on your cardiovascular system. Take Eleanor, a charming retiree who had a history of mild, well-controlled asthma. She was flying to visit her grandkids. Midway through the flight, she felt unusually short of breath and anxious. She tried her inhaler, but the feeling persisted. The flight crew noticed her distress and were concerned. What happened? The lower cabin oxygen level, combined with the extreme dryness of the cabin air, was enough to trigger a significant narrowing of her airways, something she hadn't experienced in years. The strain on her heart to compensate for the lower oxygen level was also considerable. The hidden danger is that what is a mild, manageable condition on the ground can become significantly exacerbated in the lower oxygen cabin environment, increasing heart rate and potentially straining the heart. The expert recommendation? Consult your doctor. If you have any heart or lung condition, no matter how mild, talk to your cardiologist or pulmonologist before booking a long flight. Ask if they recommend supplemental oxygen or if any of your medications need adjustment. Keep meds handy. Always keep your crucial respiratory and cardiac medications, like inhalers or nitroglycerin, in your carry-on bag, not in the overhead bin or checked luggage. Monitor symptoms. Be hyper-aware of unusual shortness of breath, excessive fatigue, or chest discomfort. If in doubt, alert the flight crew immediately. 3. Dehydration, medications, and the humidifier problem. The air inside an aircraft cabin is notoriously dry, often drier than the Sahara Desert. Cabin humidity levels can drop to as low as 5 to 10%. This is the primary reason our skin feels tight and our eyes get dry. But the real danger goes deeper than discomfort. It's about systemic dehydration and its interaction with medications. As we mature, our body's ability to regulate water and our sensation of thirst both diminish. We can be significantly dehydrated before we even feel thirsty. Combine this with the extremely low cabin humidity and the fact that many seniors take diuretic medications for blood pressure or other conditions, medications that actively encourage fluid loss, and you have a high-risk situation. Let's look at Robert, who is flying to a business conference. Robert takes a common diuretic for mild hypertension. He thoughtfully avoided alcohol, but he only drank the small cup of water offered during the meal service, fearing frequent trips to the lavatory. Over the 10-hour flight, the combination of his diuretic medication and the dry cabin air led to a significant drop in his body's fluid volume. By the time he landed, he felt dizzy, had a terrible headache, and was profoundly fatigued. In severe cases, this level of dehydration can lead to dangerously low blood pressure, electrolyte imbalance, and even impact kidney function. The hidden danger is the multiplicative effect of low cabin humidity, age-related thirst suppression, and common senior medications. Dehydration can also thicken the blood, further increasing that DVT risk we just discussed. The simple, warm advice: hydrate consistently. Make hydration a conscious, deliberate effort. Drink at least 1 full glass of water every hour, regardless of your thirst level. Limit dehydrators. Strictly limit alcohol and caffeine, coffee, tea, and soda. They are diuretics and will work against your efforts to stay hydrated. Stick to plain water or clear juice. Moisturize. Use saline nasal spray and eye drops regularly to keep mucous membranes moist, which helps prevent minor irritations from escalating into sinus or respiratory issues. Check with your doctor. Ask if any of your medications might increase dehydration, or if they recommend temporarily pausing any mild diuretics for the flight duration, though never stop medication without medical advice. 4. The compounding effect of sleep disruption and immune function. Jet lag is unpleasant for everyone, but for seniors, the severe sleep disruption of a long flight can have a much more profound and risky impact. Sleep is a fundamental component of immune system health. Prolonged sleep deprivation can significantly lower your body's defenses. Combine this with the closed, recycled air of a plane, which, despite modern filtration, still means you're in close quarters with hundreds of people, and your immune system takes a double hit. Consider Frances, a vibrant 70-year-old traveling home after an exhausting visit with relatives. She found it impossible to sleep on the 14-hour flight and arrived home completely depleted. Within 48 hours, she developed a severe cold that rapidly turned into a nasty chest infection. Her doctor noted that the profound sleep deprivation and stress from the journey had severely compromised her immunity, leaving her vulnerable to airborne pathogens. The body's ability to bounce back from exhaustion is slower as we age. The hidden danger is the direct link between long-haul flight sleep disruption and temporary immune suppression. A mild exposure to a virus that a younger traveler might shrug off can become a serious illness for an older traveler. The proactive measures? Prioritize sleep preparation. Wear an eye mask and noise-canceling headphones. If you struggle to sleep on planes, talk to your doctor about whether a mild, short-acting sleep aid might be appropriate for the flight. Protect yourself. Use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer frequently. Bring your own travel pillow and blanket if you are concerned about cleanliness. Avoid touching your face. Pre- and post-flight rest. Ensure you are well rested before your flight, and allow for a minimum of 2 full days of easy activity and rest upon arrival to allow your body to stabilize and recover. Don't immediately plunge into sightseeing. 5. Hidden balance issues and cabin turbulence. This is a risk that is rarely discussed but is crucial for safety. The combination of subtle balance changes in older adults and the unpredictable nature of in-flight turbulence. As we age, our proprioception, our sense of where our body is in space, and our vestibular system, the balance system in our inner ear, can slightly decline. We may not notice it on stable ground, but when walking on a moving aircraft floor, especially after hours of sitting, this decline is amplified. Imagine Michael, a generally steady 72-year-old who got up to stretch just as the plane hit an unexpected patch of moderate turbulence. Because he was already slightly stiff from sitting, a little dizzy from the lower oxygen, and relying on a slightly impaired sense of balance, he lost his footing completely. He didn't just stumble. He fell hard, hitting his hip on an armrest, resulting in a fractured bone that required emergency care upon landing and ruined his entire trip. The hidden danger is the multiplied risk of falls in the dynamic, constrained and sometimes turbulent environment of the cabin. A fall that might result in a bruise at home could cause a serious fracture on a plane. The immediate safety steps? Hands-free travel. When you get up, always use the seat backs or overhead bins for balance, even if you feel steady. Never walk unaided down the aisle. Heed the seatbelt sign. Always keep your seatbelt loosely fastened when seated, even if the sign is off. This is your #1 defense against sudden clear air turbulence. Wear sensible shoes. Leave the slip-ons and flimsy footwear in your carry-on. Wear comfortable, enclosed shoes with good grip for walking the cabin aisles. Wait to stand. If the plane has just landed, wait for the plane to come to a complete stop and the seatbelt sign to turn off before even attempting to retrieve items or stand. Don't rush. My dear fellow travelers, I hope this gentle and informative discussion has given you pause for thought, not a reason for fear. The world is waiting for you, and a long-haul flight is simply the bridge to your next great chapter. By acknowledging these 5 often hidden risks, DVT, respiratory strain, dehydration, immune suppression, and balance issues, you are taking control of your well-being. You are moving from a passive flyer to an empowered, proactive adventurer. I genuinely want to know, which of these risks was new to you? And what simple change will you make on your next long flight to make it safer and more comfortable? Please share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your wisdom helps our entire community fly better. If you found value in this deep dive, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel for more intelligent, caring advice for your golden years, and share this essential information with friends or family who are planning their next big trip. Fly safe, fly smart, and may your journeys be filled with joy and wonder.